quickly. Number 11, Dogpile. 16, Annika Sorenslam. 1888, Scott Landa hit. 350, Rachel Rage. Number 5, Beatrix Beatdown. Number 6462, Jackie O'Jaw. 69, Seymour Skin. B1, Pooter Smacker. B52, Bomb Run Brit. And X13, Foxy Mulder. Other side of the line, we've got for your Happy Valley Derby Darlins, the Molly Morbids out of Utah County, Utah in the white jerseys. 0, O-Negative, 132, Bloody Two Shoes. Number 2, Millie Megahertz, 21, Gambit. 4, Pain in the Nicky. 46, Steel Magnolia. 503, Hip Knocket Therapy. 79, Red Whips. 84, Wham Bam Julianne. 227, Scarlet Viper. 321, Venus Von Jet. 428, Olivia Wildchild. 521, Gypsy Wiper Out. And 777, Honey Guns.
First up for ICT, we've got Dogpile, number 11. And we've got Hypnotic Therapy, number 503, jamming for Happy Valley in the white jersey. She's stuck behind a 4-wall while Dogpile jumps out for the jammer. Hypnotic Therapy trying to move up the inside, but Rachel Rage knocks her out with a hip check as Dogpile, the jammer for ICT, comes in, knocks down her own teammate's Pooter Smacker, but moving in on a scoring pass. Looks like Rachel Rage of ICT going to the penalty box. That drops ICT down to 3 blockers. And Hypnotic Therapy able to get out, but not going to come around. 1 grand slam for ICT's Dogpile, and that puts ICT on the board. Nothing for Happy Valley.
We're going to see a good one today. You know, these are 2 teams battling for the basement, and obviously neither one of them wants to take 10th place out of this tournament. But when you take a look at it, ICT Roller Girls are ranked 134 with the current WFTDA rankings. Happy Valley, brand new. Yeah, this is their first year. This is their first sanctioned tournament play. Now, they've played a lot against Junction City locally as their neighbors, but not a lot to count on from historic perspective.
So Happy Valley just seeking to make a name for themselves. ICT trying to establish their place above Happy Valley, obviously. Pain in the Nicky driven out by Annika Sorenslam of ICT, while Bomb Run Brit, the jammer for ICT, gets lead jammer. Second time in a row for ICT. Little slip. Bomb Run Brit stepping out of bounds, but it was incidental. No worries there. If she'd gone all the way out of bounds, she might have given up a power jam by accident. But Pain in the Nicky, the jammer for Happy Valley, gets almost around, but Bomb Run Brit's going to call it off. 3 points, not going to complete the pass, but once again, Happy Valley yet to get on the board.
A lot of action early on. We expect to see plenty of that again. 2 teams that are, fairly evenly matched. We'll see. I mean, again, ICT clearly the favorite in this one, but first full year as WFTDA members, we were saying, is Happy Valley, their first sanctioned tournament. They have played a little bit against some high competition, so great opportunity for them to showcase what they can do, and we'll talk a little bit more about ICT after this jam.
Happy Valley's team captain, Millie Megahertz, number 2, almost to the front, but driven out of bounds by Beatrix Beatdown, scrambles back in and gets lead jammer for Happy Valley. First time for the team in white. Jackie O'Jaw, driven out of bounds, recycles quickly, just getting out of the pack ahead of Millie Megahertz's first scoring pass. She gets into the pack, stopped in her tracks briefly by Scott Landa hit, but now jukes around both Scott Landa hit and Beatrix Beatdown, completing the pass, calling it off just in time. Jackie O'Jaw was breathing down the neck of the rear of the pack, but she called it off in time. No points for ICT.
Quick peek at the scoreboard. We're looking at an 8-4 lead right now for ICT at the 27-minute mark. 8-4 ICT up. ICT, as I'm sure everybody already is well aware, the airport code for Wichita, Kansas. It's not an acronym. It's actually their airport code.
I think a lot of people ask about that. In fact, I've heard some people ask if they were from Connecticut, but no, they're from Wichita, Kansas. We've got Olivia Wildchild, number 428, jamming for Happy Valley in the white jersey. Dogpile back in the jammer cap. It gets a cutting the track. We're going to have our first power jam. Olivia Wildchild. It is a cutting the track. There was a question. It was a little ambiguous call. Might have been a multiplayer block, but definitely we got confirmation it's a cutting the track. 2 separate penalties: the track cut penalty on the jammer and a booty smacker on the multiplayer block. Okay, that's where the ambiguity was. I thought it was the same penalty. All right, so Pooter Smacker in the penalty box. That means ICT down a blocker and a jammer. So Olivia Wildchild finally getting out of the pack. Beatrix Beatdown did a great job of holding her up at the front of the pack, making her pay for every single inch, and in fact, killing the penalty. Dogpile returning to the track, the jammer for ICT, as Olivia Wildchild only gets about halfway through the pack on her scoring pass. Doesn't even make a pass. Nothing for Happy Valley on that power jam.
Yep, heck of a big blast there at the end to put Dogpile on her back, and that jam got called off there. We're going to have to take a look here as soon as we get an opportunity at the penalties, because they're coming fast and furious right now. A nothing score on that one, but so the score remains 8-4. Coming up on 25 minutes to play, 25-15 before the whistle blows. Here we come one more time.
Payne in the Nicky, number 4 for Happy Valley in the white jersey. Bomb run, Britt, number B52 around the outside. Oh, excuse me. I got that wrong. Oh, that is...
Payne in the Nicky up front.
Oh, it is Payne
It sure
Nicky.
is.
I saw her blocking. Okay. Payne in the Nicky. All sorted out. B52. Bomb run, Britt knocked out by Omegative, but screams back onto the track. But Payne and the Nicky already lead jammer. A little bit of confusion. I think some of the skaters on the track might have been confused as well, but not as confused as I was. Payne and the Nicky calling off the jam about halfway through, and this time she's going to get 2 points.
Well, there you go. Happy Valley jumps up by 2, so cutting into the lead a little bit. It's now an 8-6 ICT lead, 24 minutes, 25 seconds on the clock. And tell you what, man, as you look through these stats, pretty evenly paced right now, but again, very, very early, and we expect some separation here fairly shortly, but back to action on the track for the time being. We'll come back and talk a little bit about the penalty situation here as we get back.
And look at that, Millie Megahertz, number 2, just catches ICT by surprise straight up the center at the whistle, just at the crack of the whistle. Great reflexes, but look at that, Jackie Ojaw all the way through the pack and closing the gap. Millie Megahertz slams into the back. Slams into Rachel Rage, goes down. There was no penalty called on the play. She did get 1 point, called off the jam just in time for ICT. I think I see some referees consulting.
1-1 on that scoring run. So a 1-1 play, ICT 9, Happy Valley 7, 23 and a half minutes. Man, they're just coming fast and furious. I'll tell you what, Bulldog. And that's what we expected. We expected to see a fun bout. That's what we've had so far. They're keeping it up.
All right, and Millie Megahertz just slammed into the back of the pack, and sometimes it looked like a clean hit from this angle, but it isn't always the case. And sometimes it takes a while for that for an outside pack ref to come in and say, no, I had an angle and she definitely hit wrong. But no, it was definitely a clean hit. So Happy Valley very glad about that, and they keep their 2 points. But that's Steel Magnolia is coming up on the pack, but Dogpile Diva. So it catches up to her, forces the call off.
Yeah. So here's what before the bout began, I wanted to check in with the coaches and kind of get some idea of what they thought they might be doing, because quite frankly, we just don't know a lot about Happy Valley yet. So we wanted to talk to Have to Rule Her, their coach, and I understand that they're going to run really mainly 2 jammers. Obviously, we've already seen Millie Megahertz and Payne in the Nicky. We're going to see them go 1-2, and then another jammer will come in, number 3. So it'll be 1-2, and then another one, and then we'll go back to Millie and Payne, and then another jammer, and he's going to throw a bunch of girls at it. There's going to be a lot of jammers for the white team today.
But look at this. Happy Valley, the unrated team in the WFTDA, gets their jammer out again. Payne in the Nicky, number 4, is lead jammer. We got Bomb Run Britt about a half a lap behind, but Payne in the Nicky is just going to get around Annika Sorenslam for 1 point. Not going to get any further, but she keeps ICT from scoring yet again. And that puts them within 1 point of ICT.
Score is 9-8 in favor of ICT, 21 minutes, 40 seconds to play. On the other side of the line, so we talked about the jammer rotation for Happy Valley. ICT is going to go 4 strong. And I mean, you know that going in. Dogpile's going to jam. Jackie Ojaw is going to jam some. Seymour Skin will jam. And, of course, Bomb Run Britt, we've seen her already.
Jackie Ojaw around the outside, caught up by Honey Guns and Gypsy Wipeout. Olivia Wildchild getting the hip check in. Gypsy Wipeout trying to catch her, but Jackie Ojaw gets out for lead jammer. Millie Megahertz, number 2, the team captain for Happy Valley, jamming. Still on her initial pass to the outside, forced out of bounds by Now gets out of the pack. Jackie O'Jaw at the back of the pack. Dodges around number 0, O Negative. Gets out of the pack. Gets all 4 points. Calls it off.
Well, and how about, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say nothing for Happy Valley, but.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Look, speaking of Jackie O'Jaw, so that was her third jam, her first time as lead jammer. Same thing has happened for Bomb Run Britt. She's jammed 3 times, had lead once. Dogpile has jammed 3 times, had lead once. So all 3 of the jammers for ICT at a 33% lead jammer ratio right now. On the other side of the equation, Steel Magnolia got it her only time jamming. Olivia Wildchild got it her only time jamming. Millie Megahertz and Pain in the Nicky both 3 jams, both lead jammer twice for a 67% opportunity. Hypnotic Therapy will have her chance coming up. We've got a timeout white right now. That is a timeout charge to Happy Valley. Currently 13-8. ICT takes the lead back. It's extends the lead 13-8. 20 minutes 41 seconds left in this one.
So ICT opting to have their team meeting on the track. So they've got 1 skater in the penalty box, Seymour Skin, while Happy Valley has 2. That's number 777 Honey Guns and number 521 Gypsy Wipeout. So a 3-on-2 pack advantage. Dogpile Diva, number 11, jamming for ICT. Against Pain in the Nicky, number 4, but Dogpile Diva gets out with a quickness. Lead jammer goes to ICT. Pain in the Nicky held up by Pooter Smacker. Now squeezes between Pooter Smacker and Beatrix Beatdown to get out of the pack, but Dogpile Diva moving in wide open inside lane. Seymour Skins screening Hypnotic Therapy wide, and Dogpile Diva having an easy time of it. Gets that is 4 points for ICT.
17-8 the lead now. The ICT starting to open things up a little bit at the 20-minute mark, and I can tell you it's going to be pack play all the way because, I'll tell you something. The ICT jammers are strong. There's no question about that. They're going to have to figure out a way, Happy Valley is, to slow down these jammers, and it's all going to come down to pack play and keeping players out of the box. Sitting 1 right now, so a 3-on-4 pack advantage.
Bomb Run Britt getting right between O Negative and Gypsy Wiper out of Happy Valley to get out for lead jammer. Millie Megahertz, number 2, forced out of bounds by a shoulder from Beatrix Beatdown. Comes right back in, slams into a tandem wall of Pooter Smacker and Beatrix Beatdown. Breaks that up, gets past Pooter Smacker, completing her initial pass. But here's Bomb Run Britt weaving her way through the Happy Valley defense. O Negative, Gypsy Wiper out, and Honey Guns trying to wall it up on her. She's going to call it off and only going to get 3 points. Nice defense by Happy Valley.
No doubt about it. Yeah, listen, and as you look at the score, ICT, once again, a 3-0 shutout. They're pitching shutout after shutout after shutout, and that's how they're going to start the separation. 19 minutes to play, 20-8 now the score. So we've got a 12-point difference. That's not much. I get it, right? I mean, nobody's talking about a blowout or anything like that. It's only 12 points, and certainly Happy Valley can score that very, very quickly. However, they got to stop getting the shutouts.
Jackie O'Jaw jamming for ICT. A new jammer for Happy Valley. That's Wham Bam Julianne, number 84, trying to get through a 2-wall. Both jammers getting caught out. Wham Bam Julianne knocked down, has to come back. Well, Jackie O'Jaw knocked out of bounds, has to come back in behind Steel Magnolia, number 46, and Hypnotic Therapy guarding that inside lane. Red A Whips going to the penalty box for Happy Valley. That gives ICT a break, only 3 blockers to get around. And nice speed by Jackie O'Jaw, getting past Hypnotic Therapy and Steel Magnolia. Now lead jammer, but that took about a third of the jam. Jackie O'Jaw, though, very quick around and catches Happy Valley off guard. Hypnotic Therapy turns around and sees her coming, but can't react fast enough. Quick 5 points for ICT. And it looks like it's going to be a power jam. Wham Bam Julianne getting a back block penalty. So the Happy Valley jammer in the penalty box. Second scoring pass for Jackie O'Jaw. Steel Magnolia comes across with a hip check, forcing Jackie O'Jaw to recycle. Potentially 5 points on this scoring pass. And now Red A whips back in, number 79. almost catches Jackie Ojaw, but she's going to race ahead. Gets another 5, makes it 10 points for ICT, jumping to 30 points.
Yeah, we've got another penalty being called on number 46, Dale Magnolia. She'll take a seat, making it even harder. They're going to start on the power start this time around, but the score beginning to spread out a little bit. And you know what's interesting? Only 2 jammers have actually scored points for Happy Valley so far. Take that back. Let me go back the other way for ICT. I'm sorry.
Do over.
Yeah. 9 and 7 for Millie and Payne. All 3 jammers, Jackie Ojaw, Bomb Run, Britt, and Dogpile, have put points on the board.
And now it is Dogpile Diva. Number 11 slams a shoulder into Honey Guns, counter-checking and gets by, knocking down the Happy Valley blocker. Wham Bam Julianne coming out of the penalty box, so ends the power jam. Rachel Rage forcing her to come back far. And there goes Dogpile Diva, once again knocking down Honey Guns. She's just taking it out on Honey Guns. 10-point jam for Dogpile Diva, so now ICT bringing the heat.
Yeah, and let me tell you, take everything that I just said about Happy Valley's points out of this thing, because I'm looking at technology. Technology tells me that Millie Megahertz has scored 9 and Payne and the Nikki have scored 7. But that's 16 points, and there's only 8 points on the board. So clearly technology is failing me right now. 40-8 is on the scoreboard. 16 minutes to play. A 10-point ICT jam. 40-8, a 32-point lead right now.
All right, so a little minor technical difficulty, so we'll try and correct those stats for you. But right now, another fresh jammer for Happy Valley, Hypnotic Therapy, number 503 in the white jersey. Bomb Run Britt, number B52 in the red jersey for ICT, driven out of bounds. Has to recycle just a little bit. Actually, now she has to recycle back a lot because she got knocked back out of bounds. Payne in the Nikki, drawing her fully out of turn 3, while Hypnotic Therapy just slips through the pack, gets a grand slam. So Happy Valley getting very happy to see some points. They've had a drought for the last 3 jams. But Hypnotic Therapy on her second scoring pass knocks down Rachel Rage, comes up behind Foxy Mahler, but Foxy Mahler backs off. I guess she thought she was still only about 5 feet from the pack, but I guess she thought she was further ahead. But or maybe just playing it safe. But that's 2 grand slams for Happy Valley. And Hypnotic Therapy calling off the jam as she draws up breast of Bomb Run Britt. Bomb Run Britt going to come up empty. And 1 more point for Happy Valley, making it an 11-point jam.
There you go, 40-19 the score, and I'll tell you what, they're making it a little bit closer right now. 21 points separate them, 14 and a half minutes to play, and a great opportunity right here for Happy Valley. They got to get lead jammer status again. They got to put some points on the board in this, their first sanctioned tournament since joining the ranks of the WFTDA back in 2010.
This time we've got Jackie Ojaw jamming for ICT against yet another. They are really going deep in Happy Valley. Gypsy Whipper out jamming for Happy Valley, gets forced out by Pooter Smacker. But Jackie Ojaw going to the penalty box on a cut track penalty, and as well as Annika Soren slam. Just as Steel Magnolia comes out of the penalty box, so Happy Valley at full strength. They got the only jammer on the track, and only facing 3 opposing blockers. And that Gypsy Wiper gets an easy inside lane, beautiful screen, taking Scott Land a hit out of the picture, and Gypsy Whipper out gets lead jammer. But that was only her initial pass. No points yet. Now, first scoring pass, and Pooter Smacker comes in with a big, devastating hip check, actually taking out her own skater, too, in the process. Foxy Mahler going down, but Gypsy Whipper out's only going to get a partial pass out of that one. And ICT's jammer Jackie Ojaw standing now, but they did manage to freeze the jammer.
And Gypsy Wiper out, by the way. Gypsy Wiper out.
What did I say?
Whipper out.
Oh, thank you.
I was trying to do it. I was trying to do it clandestine, man. Gypsy Wiper out is the 7th jammer used. If technology's not completely screwing with me, 7th jammer used by Happy Valley. And we knew that coming in. We were told they were going to use a lot of jammers, 2 main jammers, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, but that was a 4-point jam for Gypsy Wiper out.
23:40 on the board, 12:43 on the clock.
And, of course, Jackie Ojaw was standing in the penalty box, so she started from there, while Gypsy Wiper out now standing. Jackie Ojaw was already standing when the jam ended, so Gypsy Wipeout serving most of her penalty, but Jackie O'Jaw has lead jammer on her first scoring pass as Gypsy Wipeout back in play. In fact, Happy Valley back at full strength. Gypsy Wipeout gets another cutting the track, though, so it's going to continue to be a power jam for ICT. Jackie O'Jaw getting around Hypnotic Therapy, claiming a grand slam in her first scoring pass. That's a power jam scoring pass. Now coming up on the pack a second time. Steel Magnolia comes across. Jackie O'Jaw trapped behind Honey Guns. But she manages to go the out. Now finds the inside lane. Happy Valley drew over to the right when they saw Jackie O'Jaw making her move. But Jackie O'Jaw accelerates to the inside, completes the pass. Another grand slam. That's another 10-pointer for ICT. They've been scoring in 10-point increments several times in a row.
You know, there's nothing against scoring in 5, 6, 7 at a time. But hey, listen, if you're going to go, you may as well go big. Let's go get 10 every single time. So 23-50 currently on the board, less than 11.5 to play. ICT with a 27-point lead, and here comes the whistle for the next jam.
It's another power start for ICT. This time, Dog Pile Diva, number 11. Jamming with Gypsy Wipeout still in the penalty box. We got O-Negative making last point of contact for Happy Valley, but Dog Pile Diva gets out for lead jammer. Looks like Payne and the Nicky going to the penalty box as well. Only 3 blockers left for Happy Valley. Dog Pile Diva slams the shoulder into the double wall of Wild Child and Honey Guns and gets through. Another grand slam. And I suspect if history tells us anything, she's going to go for at least one more scoring pass, get into the double digits, but slams the hips into Olivia Wildchild, knocks her down, but gets a penalty. Did we see the penalty?
Rachel Rage. It was a forearm penalty. She's in the box.
Yeah, no, Dog Pile Diva now wearing a double braid, so there she goes. She's still on the scoring pass. Big shoulder check from O-Negative, driving Dog Pile Diva out of bounds. She's going to call it off, but will get all 5 points. So another fourth 10-pointer in a row for ICT.
There you go. So Rachel Rage called on that forearm penalty. She'll take a seat. We'll be on the 4-on-3 pack advantage when we begin again. 60-23, dead center at the 10-minute mark right there. 10 minutes to go. 23-60 ICT with a healthy lead and looking to pull away right here. Again, they're going to have to do, they're going to have the opportunity to do it, but on a 4-on-3 disadvantage.
Millie Megahertz blasting straight up the center again for the second time in a row, catching ICT off guard. Gets lead jammer just like that, but another fresh jammer for ICT. Pooter Smacker, number B1, gets out of the pack as well, but here's Millie Megahertz on a scoring pass. Gets knocked out of bounds. She's going to call off the jam. Only going to get 2 for Happy Valley.
Rachel Rage able to get back to the track, but not on the track, so they'll be starting at full strength when we come back in a couple 15 seconds. On the clock right now, 9 minutes and 10 seconds, 25-60 after that 2-0 run by Happy Valley, finally getting some points on the board, and more importantly than that, perhaps, shutting ICT down.
Both teams at full strength. Empty penalty box right now. Bomb run Britt jamming for ICT. Quick move to the outside, but she's covered by O-Negative. It is a cutting the track. Bomb run Britt to the penalty box, and now Olivia Wildchild jamming for ICT. First time jamming, and is now a lead jammer. Pack frozen in turn 2. More like turn 3, but Olivia Wildchild makes first contact with Seymour Skin. Double hip check. But now she's in a delta wall, trapped in there, gets around the inside of it, but runs into Scott Landa hit. Foxy Mahler backing her up, and now it's one-on-one with Scott Landa hit, who, muscles her out and gets 1 foot out of bounds. That means Olivia Wildchild goes to the penalty box, but Bomb Run Britt, the ICT jammer, was already leaving the penalty box, so a full 30-second power jam, but this is her initial pass. Now completing it very quickly. Here comes Honey Guns coming out of the penalty box. That's going to put Happy Valley's defense back to full strength. All 4 blockers on the track, but Bomb Run Britt just too fast for O-Negative. No contact made in a grand slam for ICT. But Olivia Wildchild standing in the penalty box, the jammer for Happy Valley. So this power jam is not going to last much longer, but O-Negative, the only blocker left in front of Bomb Run Britt, forces Bomb Run Britt out of bounds. She comes in clean, gets stuck behind Honey Guns. In fact, all 4 blockers for Happy Valley getting in front. And now Scott Landa hit trying to bust up that wall, but Honey Guns getting Bomb Run Britt out of bounds. She has to recycle. Here comes Olivia Wildchild on her, now completing her first scoring pass. And she gets the 5 points. That was, she already had the jammer point before she went to the penalty box. So grand slam there. And then Bomb Run Britt completing her scoring pass number 2. And right now another 10-pointer for ICT. So they continue their streak of nothing but 10-pointers.
Yeah, Annika Sorenslam took a penalty there towards the end of that one. I believe that's going to be a blocking, an out-of-play penalty there. 70-33 now the score. And you know what, again, here, so ICT took 10 points, put them on the board, but Happy Valley, even with everything going on, able to get 8 out of it as well. So 33-70, I think you'll take that every chance you get. We've got a timeout called now by Happy Valley. They want to think things over, and nothing wrong with that. Listen, 6:35 on the clock. They're down by, 37 points right now. But again, 10-8's not a bad way to go. Now, 10-0, that was trouble and has been for them all the way through. 10-8 keeps you close.
Especially when you gave up a power jam.
Yeah, listen, no doubt about it. And you know what, that's the thing. Unfortunately, we don't have a whiteboard visible where we can see it. I'd like to go down and take a look at least at halftime anyway. We'll go down and take a peek and see where we are, because this has listen, this has not been a penalty-free affair so far. I mean, it's kind of penalty happy, if you will. Happy Valley ICT.
Well, we'll see at halftime when we look at the penalty chart just how happy they are. But yeah, absolutely, this has been a lot of power jams so far. What do we got? We have 8 power. According to our unofficial stats, we have 8 power jams so far. ICT has been able to get 5 power jams, whereas Happy Valley has only gotten 3. So 2 power jam advantage for ICT. And as well as our stats trackers are giving ICT 30 power points over Happy Valley's 4. So in addition, ICT has been much better at converting those power jams.
And again, let's be very honest. Those are unofficial stats. They mean absolutely nothing other than we think they're pretty close.
But our stats people are pretty good.
They're on top of it.
But you know, it's a little ambiguous to say which points were scored on the power jams.
Well, we have to be a little bit careful, because there were 16 points put on there that aren't necessarily accurate. So we're not sure where those came from. We'll fix that in halftime.
Yeah, so it's a rough measure of how strong they are in the power jams, but not official. Payne in the Nicky, gets lead jammer, and quick, just like that, gets through the pack. Calls off the jam. Quick 4 for Happy Valley. So starting off after that timeout on a high note.
Yeah, Jackie O'Jam tried to put on the gas, tried to get into the engagement zone, wasn't able to get back there. So 4-0 run for Happy Valley, chipping away at the lead. Now 37-70. 6 minutes and actually a little bit under 6 minutes to go right now. So, listen, it's 33 points. Certainly, that's a couple of good jams, and you're right back in it. So, I think Happy Valley would be happy to be where they are right now, considering where we all thought they might be.
Absolutely. Coming in unrated, you're a complete unknown. But Happy Valley still looking pretty strong against ICT. But right now, Dogpile Diva gets lead jammer. Millie Megahertz wasn't able to do that sneak attack because in this jam, both teams opted to start close to the pivot line. So she wasn't going to dig her way straight up the center like she did the 2 previous times she jammed. But Dogpile Diva getting past the Happy Valley defense. The pack spread out quite a bit, and Millie Megahertz able to get past the 1 blocker, Annika Sorenslam, that was left on the track. There was a lot of penalties for ICT, but Dogpile Diva nevertheless having no trouble overcoming all 4 of the Happy Valley blockers very quickly through the second time. 4 points, a total of 9 points. Not 10, though, I might add.
There you have it. 9 points on that one. Pushes the lead 79-37, 4 minutes, 45 seconds to go right about now. And, the revolving door continues. I mean, that penalty box is getting a lot of action. In fact, didn't catch the number, but on the way out, one of the ICT skaters, one of the Happy Valley skaters tried taking one of the chairs with her.
Well, you have to be careful about that because that is a potential penalty, illegal procedure or misconduct. Take your pick. But Bomb Run Britt racing through the pack, gets lead jammer. Payne in the Nicky, number 4, forced out of bounds. Foxy Mahler comes in front of her, but Payne in the Nicky now racing ahead, just does not even get touched, manages to avoid any contact with the ICT blockers. But Bomb Run Britt on a scoring pass, repelled twice, and now knocked out of bounds a third time and calls it off this time. Only going to get 1 point, but look at that, Payne and Nicky matching it.
80 points on the board for ICT. That's a 1-1 jam, 80-38 now the score. 3 minutes, 45 seconds to go in this one. Quick shout out to Sticker Giant, the custom sticker experts, official sticker company of ColoradoSports.TV. Check them out at www.stickergiant.com. Use the code RollerDerby at checkout. Get 10% off your order. We've got an official timeout, so as long as we've got that, and I told you that Sticker Giant is the official sticker company of ColoradoSports.TV, I should tell you, if you're enjoying all the action, if you're loving the fact that you get to watch some phenomenal, there's been some great roller derby this weekend already, and there's still more to come. And if you're enjoying seeing it from the comfort of your own home, where it's not freezing cold, snowing outside. It's been snowing all day here.
It's snowing right now.
Yeah, listen, it hasn't stopped, and the wind is blowing it sideways. So if you like the fact that you get to watch all this from the comfort of your own couch, and you appreciate the quality of the broadcast, and you know what? What the hell? If you like what we're doing, how about clicking that donate button in that lower right-hand corner of your screen and tossing a couple of shekels over towards the good folks at ColoradoSports.TV. By far as I'm concerned, the most professional outfit I've ever had the privilege of calling roller derby on their interwebs. So big shout out to those folks over there. Also, as long as we are still in official timeout time, let me tell you about RD Nation. It's a smarter way to derby. You know that, right? They're bringing roller derby to the masses. They help leagues manage themselves better so that the leagues themselves can skate more. That's the goal, isn't it? More skating time. Download the free software right now. You're on the line. You might as well go ahead and do it, and we're out of action. Software can be downloaded for free at rdnation.com. We are back to action. Tell them what's going on, brother.
And there it is again. Millie Megahertz somehow just has a magic key through the pack. She just blasts her way straight up the center. If they are on the line, she just seems to have no trouble. Slices through like a samurai sword, but not so much on this scoring pass. Scott Land a hit, knocking her out of bounds. But Jackie Ojaw, the jammer for ICT, in the penalty box. And now Millie Megahertz getting a high block. She slammed that shoulder in, and Seymour Skin, actually about 6 inches taller than her, but nevertheless, she was crouched down. Millie Megahertz's shoulder came up, made contact with her head, or looks like the side of her helmet, and the referee saw that, gives her the high block. That breaks up that power jam. Jackie Ojaw now coming in. She's going to get the same amount of time alone on the track with the Happy Valley defense. Juking to the outside. Gypsy wiper out and misses, but Honey Guns able to get her out. And it's going to be a no pass, no penalty. Honey Gun stepping out of bounds and allowing Jackie Ojaw to come back in clean. So lucky break for the ICT jammer, but that ends the power jam. Millie Megahertz on a scoring pass. For both jammers on their first scoring pass, and both jammers potentially have a 5-point pass going right now. Rachel Rage knocking down Millie Megahertz, and now Scott Land a hit, getting her digs in. Millie Megahertz not having a very easy time of it like she did on her initial pass. But now Scott Land a hit has to back off. Rachel Rage tries to get her out, last-ditch effort, but the hips can't make contact solid enough, and Millie Megahertz finally completing her first pass and does get the grand slam. But there's Jackie Ojaw looking to match it. Too fast for Olivia Wildchild, but only going to get 4 out of a potential 5 on that one. So right now, Happy Valley with 1 more point on the board. Millie Megahertz well into a scoring pass. Jackie Ojaw not going to get in time, so 3 more points for Happy Valley brings them to 8 points and only 4 points for ICT.
Seymour Skin on the other side of the line there for ICT. Took that penalty. She sat and she was about to be released. Released at the very end, or just before the jam timer actually called the jam, so she's back out on the bench. She'll come back in a second, but looks like she might have banged her head on that fall, so we'll have to take a look. 1 minute, 8 seconds on the clock, 84-46 now in favor of ICT. 1 minute mark, and away we go.
Hypnocket Therapy, number 503, jamming for Happy Valley in the white jersey. Foxy Mahler and Pooter Smacker squeezing Hypnocket Therapy, but Rachel Rage coming across. Did you see that penalty?
Yeah, we got a power jam in action right now. That was a forearm penalty on Dogpile. She sits. Power jam starts. Full capacity for both. And now Rachel Rage is going to take a seat as well, so a 4-on-3 advantage and the power jam.
Yeah, did not see the penalty on Rachel Rage, but that opened the door for Hypnotic Therapy. Now quickly through the back on her first scoring pass, gets 5 for Happy Valley. They're slowly chipping away at this lead, but second scoring pass for Hypnotic Therapy as Dog Pile Diva returns to the track. Instantly surrounded by three Happy Valley skaters, Steel Magnolia, Scarlet Viper, and Pain in the Nicky holding on strong, but Dog Pile Diva fighting away, but not going to get any points. Did not complete her initial pass, and this time it's Happy Valley putting up the 10.
Hey, listen, 10 spot for them, and that's going to be your first half. Here's the quick look at it. 56-84 ICT up by, 28 points, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not. 28 points is the ICT lead. We'll be back here. Hang on for 20 seconds. I want to make sure that we're not. I can't believe. There we go. I can't believe we're going to do a 15-minute halftime. Looks like they're going to give us about. Well, we'll tell you in a second. I don't want to walk away until we know exactly what we're actually going to do, and then tell you. There we go. A 5-minute halftime period. So you've got 40 seconds of that already gone. Get your butt back here in 4 minutes, and we will join you right back here. I'm Pastor Mike. He's Bulldog. We're here in Colorado at Mayday Mayhem.
Sticker Giant helps people make great stickers. I'm John Fisher, and I started the company. Every sticker has a story behind it. Every sticker has something behind it besides just stickiness.
People seem to flock towards stickers no matter what they are all about.
It's a portable billboard. It can go anywhere.
I've seen stickers on little girls' foreheads.
Cars, motorcycles.
Stop signs, we don't endorse that.
Baby bottoms.
I see stickers everywhere. I see stickers in my dreams.
We're a small little group of people, and we all kind of have the same vision for success.
Every person is quality minded, top to bottom. We're about getting the job done right.
The quality of Sticker Giant stickers is really fantastic. We run 3 different materials here. All of them were researched to find the best possible thing we can get.
We can get your email and process your stickers in 24 hours and get them out to you.
We try and do things quickly, we try and do them accurately, and we try and get people the stickers that they want. People ask me what I do, and I go, we make stickers all day. There's this company in rural Boulder County, and all they do is make stickers and labels. What makes Sticker Giant a great sticker? What the customer wants, because we can print any kind of sticker. Every day there's a sticker to where I see it, and I just want to know the story behind it. I want to know the company. I want to talk to the owner.
We take people's passions, things that they're really fired up about. We make it over and over and over so those people can tell their story to the world.
All right, we are back from Loveland, Colorado. It is Mayday Mayhem. I'm Pastor Mike. Beside me, the intrepid Bulldog. That's you. Welcome back. Here we are. Halftime has ended. It's a 56-84 ICT lead, 84-56 on the board, 30 minutes to rock and roll. And while we have a chance, I want to shout somebody out real quick. Can I do that? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Quick shout out to Pat Beniscar from ICT Roller Girls. She's watching from home right now on the feed. She's supposed to be here tonight, but she's got a bun in the oven. She's got a junior derby chick brewing. Is what she's got.
9-month injury.
Yeah, that's Dogpile's sister. So a big shout out to Pat Beniscar. We wish the hell you were here, but glad to see you're taking care of business on Mother's Day.
Speaking of Dogpile Diva, she's jamming for ICT, but loses the race to Pain in the Nicky, the Happy Valley jammer. but catches it. Well, loses the race. Might have spoke too soon because Dog Pile Diva catches up very quickly. Payne and Nikki forced to call off the jam.
Yeah, listen, when you're side by side, hip to hip and cheek to cheek like that, I mean, you got two choices. You either run it out or you call it off. And quite frankly, with a decent little lead, ICT says, let's jack the clock. 30 seconds off the clock each and every time they call the whistle. So, not a bad strategy, especially up by a couple. And, we'll see. We haven't had a chance to see what kind of adjustments Happy Valley has made at the half. We'll see if it's enough. 5 minutes is not a long intermission, but maybe they found something.
Millie Megahertz leaping to behind a hip check from Annika Sorenslam. Gets out for Happy Valley. She's lead jammer. Jackie Ojaw racing out of the pack as well. But gets a cutting the track penalty. Power jam Happy Valley. Here's Millie Megahertz on her first scoring pass. Runs into Scott Landa hit, but battles her way around and gets past Foxy Mahler to boot, sending her spinning and a grand slam for Happy Valley. Pooter Smacker back on track, but behind the Happy Valley jammer. So still only 3 blockers, but they managed to get Millie Megahertz out of bounds. This is the second scoring pass of the power jam. Millie Megahertz looks over, sees Jackie Ojaw standing in the penalty box, opts to freeze the jammer, but no points on that second pass. 5 points for Happy Valley.
Double naught. Well, take that back. On that last pass, double naught. Nothing doing there, but 5 points already on the board for Happy Valley. So an 84-61 lead for the ICT and a 28-minute on the clock. A 28-minute? 28 entire minutes. A 28-minute period of time. That's what you got.
I think you successfully communicated, though, and that's
well,
important.
Listen, you know what? It's at this late day.
Hypnotic therapy for Happy Valley. Dodging around. Scott Landa hit. Looks like Annika Sorenslam going back to the penalty box. That drops ICT down to 3 blockers. Dog Pile Diva, number 11 for ICT. Just escorted to the outside by Gypsy Wiper out, but stays inbound only to get knocked out by Olivia Wildchild. So she has to recycle back. Jackie Ojaw still trying to get around, but finally a no pack allows her to get through scot-free, and Olivia Wildchild charged with the intentional destruction of the pack. So the penalty box completely full. Actually, ICT with 2 blockers standing, but Olivia Wildchild will be a forced skate, a must skate in this jam because in spite of these 30-second penalties, Happy Valley has stacked them.
Well, and you're going to have a micro pack right now. I mean, there is just nothing going on, and we're going to get a timeout now. That's going to be another white team timeout. That's Happy Valley calling for time. Quick reset for you just because we can. ICT still leading 84-65, so think that through for a second. That's only 19 points now. A 19-point lead. Happy Valley's been chopping away, 26:45 to go.
And I have to say this quietly because we are fairly close to the Happy Valley bench, but right now I do not see a Happy Valley jammer anywhere on the track. Hopefully they will see that before the jam starts, but I'm obliged not to give anything away. Oh, okay, there we go. Looks like Millie Megahertz. Okay, Millie Megahertz wearing the jammer star.
She's wearing it, but she's not on the track. So
well, she wasn't on the track before they called, but they did end up calling the timeout. So. All right, I didn't want to give anything away. That would have been a really tragic mistake for Happy Valley. Well, maybe tragic is overstating it, but you never want to give a team a 2-minute power jam.
Well, aptly named Happy Valley because the Happy Valley skaters are over there. I don't know what they're doing. They're dancing. They're singing. It's like a chorus line going on. But they're ready to go. Mini pack, micro pack, call it what you will. Off to the races. Here we go.
Yeah, 2-on-2, but with Olivia Wildchild of Happy Valley owing a penalty. But Millie Megahertz, as we've seen so many times before, just slices through the pack, just easily getting out, but calls it off. Calls it off when Jackie Ojaw comes right behind her.
Well, it was a reset, basically, at that point, because you've got your blockers still sitting, so go ahead and give them a chance to rest up for another extra couple of seconds, because as soon as the whistle blasts, they're going to be standing up. They'll be able to rejoin fairly quickly. So we'll take a look. It's 84-65 still. Again, no score on that last pass, so 84-65 on the clock. 19 points separating these two teams at the 26-minute mark.
But a 4-on-2 pack advantages ICT's blockers get out of the penalty box. So that was the result of that last jam. It just took time off the penalties. But now Happy Valley up to 3 as Omega comes out. Dogpile Diva weaves right straight up the center. Just a one little tiny juke to the left, and she gets through. 4 points for ICT.
Well, look at this. 4 points on the board for ICT. Nothing doing on the Happy Valley side. They're stretching it out again. 25.5 to play. 88-65, a 23-point lead. But, listen, this is roller derby, brother. One power jam turns that around very, very quickly. So we'll see what comes of it. But they're going to be skating a 4-on-3 advantage right now. One in the box standing for Happy Valley.
Happy Valley continuing to nip at the heels of ICT. ICT trying to pull away, but Happy Valley sticking with them. Jackie Ojaw in a tussle at the front, going against 3 blockers. Gypsy Wiper out, O-Negative, and Honey Guns. And now Olivia Wildchild out of the penalty box. Both teams now at full strength. Jackie Ojaw up the outside, but there's at the back of the pack, Millie Megahertz was just recycled by the ICT blockers. So ICT able to get their jammer out. Jackie Ojaw is lead jammer. Millie Megahertz up front. Last line of defense. Foxy Mahler just edges her out. She has to recycle one more time. Gets up to the front again. This time it's Beatrix beat down and Foxy Mahler, but they can't get in front of her. Millie Megahertz jukes to the inside, gets out of the back. Jackie Ojaw, though, rides Olivia Wildchild around the corner and comes up with a grand slam. Looking back at her bench, started to call it off, changed her mind, and then changed it again. 1 5-point pass for ICT, and Happy Valley not getting in.
How about that outside-inside jump move for Millie? I mean, she was locked in or would have been locked in tight, but she made a move that completely froze the defense. 2 skaters up front, and both of them just watched her go by. They didn't even attempt to touch her, really could not have made contact. I mean, it was just a solid move from the outside in. 93-65, 23-45 to play. ICT leads.
Very nimble skater, that Millie Megahertz, but right now Hypnotic Therapy taking a powerful whip off the hips of Red A whips her. Not so ready that time, but actually pulling her own skater down, but she does get out of the pack. Bomb Run Britt is going to call it off. No score.
That's a milker right there is what you call that. That's just go ahead and, Guernsey cow. I don't know what you want to call it, but that's a milker. That's call it off right now and let 30 seconds drip away. 93-65. Nothing doing on the scoreboard on that one. So right back to it, and a 28-point lead still exists for ICT.
New jammer for Happy Valley. That's Scarlet Viper, number 227. Gets up to the front. Beatrix beats down, is there, and Scott Land a hit. It comes across with a shoulder check, and those 2 are backed up by Seymour Skin. But Scarlet Viper just absorbed everything they can throw at her and comes out with lead jammer. Now we've got Dogpile Diva getting around O-Negative, the last line of defense, but she's got to catch up to Scarlet Viper, who's starting a scoring pass. Slams his shoulder into Pooter Smacker. Good contact and dodges to the inside. Gets out for 4. But there's Dogpile Diva. A little early there. Yes, matching those scores. She does complete the scoring pass. And so 4-4 so far. Scarlet Viper coming around again. Gets past her teammates. Seymour Skin makes contact. Runs into Beatrix beatdown, and Pooter Smacker stops her in her tracks. 3 points for ICT. That means 7 points for ICT, 6 points for Happy Valley.
Well, let's take another look at that. Hang on 1 second.
Okay,
they're going the other way around. So here's what we've got. As of right now, ICT has just dropped a 100-point effort so far. 7 points on that one brings them right to the century mark. Now we're going to adjust. There's the adjustment you were looking for. 6 points for Happy Valley. So it's now 71-100. 29 points separating these 2 teams.
All right, so it was briefly reported as a 4 by the scorekeepers, but they corrected it to be only 2 points on that second pass for Happy Valley. So now 71-100. ICT maintains the lead by 29 points, but Payne in the Nikki, number 4, is lead jammer, coming in on her first scoring pass. Jackie Ojaw does complete the initial pass, not going to give up that jammer point. But Payne in the Nikki whipping around. Beatrix beat down, gets the 4, calls it off. and they're 4 points closer to ICT.
Payne and the Nicky did a good job there. You know, she's only scored 8 points in this entire bout before the whistles blew on this one, so she just went ahead and added 50% of her total right there, so she's up to 12 points. Hypnotic Therapy leading the team with 25. Millie Megahertz right behind her with 20. Several players in single digits after that. Other side of the equation for ICT, your lead scorer right now is Dog Pile Diva with 49, Jackie Ojaw with 34, and Bomb Run Britt with the other 17. All their points, 3 jammers deep.
All right, and if you hear me say Gypsy Wipe Her Out, go ahead and smack me. Whip her out. If you hear me say Gypsy Whip Her Out.
You said it right that time, man. Come on. Come on.
I apologize to her family and all of her ancestors.
Listen, it's a long weekend, man, and we are deep in it right now. Hey, speaking of deep in it, we are already 10 minutes off of the second period here. So 20 minutes left on the clock. Score is 100-75, a 25-point ICT lead. 5 seconds to go, and the whistles will blow. Let's see how it goes from here.
Yeah, scratch jam in the previous one. Now we've got yet another fresh jammer. Well, yes, Steel Magnolia, number 46, first time jamming for Happy Valley, and a back block penalty on the Happy Valley jammer. She's going to the penalty box, and now we've got Dog Pile Diva all alone on the track. The sole jammer on the track, I should say. She's most definitely not alone. We've got Scarlet Viper and Payne and the Nicky getting her out of bounds, but she manages to come in very quickly behind those skaters and gets lead jammer.
Yeah, this is actually going to be Steel Magnolia's second attempt from the stripe. Now, again, she's going to sit for a good portion of it, but this is actually her second jam now.
I stand corrected. We've got Dog Pile Diva, though, on her first scoring pass. Quickly through the back, she's going to call it off. Not going to go for 10 this time.
Yeah, she got all 5 of them, though, and I'll tell you what, right now, up by 25 and now 30 points, 18:53, 52, 51 to go on the clock. You know, listen, you don't need to score 15 at a time. You don't need to score 10 at a time. 5 will do it, 3 will do it, 1 will do it if you're holding the other team to 0 and knocking time off the clock, especially when you're in the lead. So all of a sudden, look at this. They didn't need a treasure map or anything. The entire pack has found the pivot line.
Olivia Wildchild jamming for the third time for Happy Valley. Up to the front. Scott Land a hit. Just gets a glancing blow that gets brushed off by Olivia Wildchild. But Beatrix beat down. Annika Soren Slam able to make contact. But no, Olivia Wildchild breaking free, and Jackie Ojaw.
Yeah.
Jackie Ojaw is going to not make it around in time. No points on that one.
105-75 currently on the scoreboard. 30 points separate these two teams at the 18-minute mark. We've got a little bit less than that right now. We're going to send Millie Megahertz and Bomb Run Britt to the line. 12 jams for Millie. This will be number 11 for Bomb Run Britt, and they're dead even on points too, basically. 20 for Millie, 17 for Bomb Run Britt. So this ought to be a doozy, baby, right here.
Both teams at full strength and lining up on the pivot line. Millie Megahertz, though, likes those two-layer packs.
And she's
because
quick.
She just needs the tiniest opening. If she can find, she just looks for the widest point between her opponents in that four wall. And in fact, I think what's happening is the Happy Valley, the Happy Valley blockers standing right in front of the ICT wall are preventing them from adopting it. So as soon as she gets that leverage in between them, they have nowhere to go to get in front of her because they're blocked at every step by the Happy Valley. And I think that is the key to what she's been doing, but she's done it so effectively for Happy Valley.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. There's nothing more to say about that. 105-75, 16:45 to play. ICT leads by 30. Dog Pile Diva on lead, or excuse me, behind the stripe. Payne and the Nicky going to start off with her.
Payne and Nicky up the front, one-on-one with Pooter Smacker, who knocks her down. She picks herself up, and the pack passes her. she's got to start over from scratch. Dogpile Diva, the ICT jammer in the red jersey, is lead jammer. Now hits the pack on a scoring pass. Runs into Honey, Guns, and Gambit. Dodges around them one-on-one with O Negative. Jukes to the inside, completes the pass. 4 points ICT.
Yeah, let me tell you something. You know, when you want to take a look at scoring, this is kind of interesting. Dogpile right now has 58 points in this bout. 58 points is more than Hypnotic Therapy and Milli Megahertz combined. Those two have been prolific for their team at 25 and 20 apiece, but Dogpile's got 58. She's better than the top two jammers on the other side as far as points are concerned. Now it's only a 34-point lead, 109-75 at the 15:40 mark.
So 58 points, that's more than half of the ICT score. But Jackie Ojaw, very quick acceleration around the outside, and Steel Magnolia whiffs with a shoulder check, allowing Jackie Ojaw to get lead jammer. We've got a Hypnotic Therapy, slams a shoulder into the sternum of an inverted Scott Landa hit that goes and then dodges around, but she's not even close to catching Jackie Ojaw. In fact, Jackie Ojaw is coming close to lapping her. Already one scoring pass, 4 points, but Hypnotic Therapy puts on a last-second burst of acceleration, steals 1 point off the back of the pack.
Well, you got to wonder why Jackie Ojaw waited quite that long to call that one off. That was, again, not a very costly mistake. 1 point certainly not going to be a huge issue, but man, oh man, call that one off a couple seconds earlier. Let the clock tick away and take care of business, because 4-1 is good, 4-0 is better. 113-76. ICT continues to lead. 14 minutes, 40 seconds to play.
Bomb Run Brit returning to the jammer line against Milli Megahertz. The pack spread out, so Milli Megahertz unable to make her signature move. Gets cleaned out by Scott Landa hit. Returns to the back of the pack. Seymour Skins trying to convince her to come back even further, but Milli Megahertz not falling for that one. Neither is the referee either. But Milli Megahertz now just races past the 3-wall at the front, and Happy Valley has lead jammer. Bomb Run Bridge shouldered out of bounds by O Negative. Has to come back in behind the pack, still on her initial pass as she gets lapped by Milli Megahertz, who just sneaks right past Annika Sorenslam. Looked like they were focusing on their own jammer. Bomb Run Brit now making a last hit on Olivia Wildchild, and gets out of the pack, completing her initial pass, though. Milli Megahertz on scoring pass number 2. Knocked down and falls out of bounds, calling off the jam as she goes. Only going to get 1 point on that second scoring pass for a total of 6 for Happy Valley.
Well, let me tell you something. You could put all 6 of those points right on the back of O Negative and Gypsy Wiper out, because, I understand who was jamming, and I know who put the points on the board. It was Milli, but Milli calls that jam off before she makes one single point, if not for a massive hit forcing the other jammer out of play by O Negative, and then another one forcing her inside track, that one by Gypsy Wiper out. Those two made that possible. 6 points on the board, 82-113, 13-minute mark of the game.
Annika Sorenslam in the penalty box. It drops ICT down to 3 blockers. Dogpile Diva still on her initial pass, but squeezes in between the 3-wall. Gets out, but Payne in the Nicky. Quick around the outside. Untouched by ICT. Gets 4 more points for Happy Valley.
One Happy Valley girl goes round the outside, round the outside, round the outside. She got 4 points. 113-86, 12 minutes, 40 seconds, and we've got ourselves a stoppage. That's going to be a timeout, I believe it is, and that's going to go on the other side. That's going to go over to ICT. So timeout at 12:40 to play, 86-113. 27 points. Listen, I don't want to sound incredulous, because I don't want to make it sound as if, Happy Valley just has no chance in this bout. That's never been the case, but I got to be honest with you, man. Nobody thought we would be here right now. I mean, we really didn't in the basement game. This is for 9th and 10th place, and Happy Valley is sticking around. Speaking of sticking around, let's talk about Sticker Giant. They've been sticking around all weekend long. They are the custom sticker experts, official sticker company of ColoradoSports.TV. Check them out on the interwebs, www.stickergiant.com. Use that code Roller Derby. When you check out, you get 10% off your order. And you know what? 10%'s good. How about 100%? Let's do 100% free, 100% discount. RD Nation. It's a smarter way to derby, bringing roller derby to the masses. RD Nation helps leagues manage themselves better so they can skate more. You can download the 100% free software at rdnation.com. Back to the action, 12 minutes, 39 seconds on the clock. ICT leads 113-86.
That was ICT's first team timeout. Happy Valley has already used all of their timeouts, all 3 of theirs, but they still have the potential to stop the clock with an official review. However, they still have a long road ahead of them to make up those 27 points. We've got Millie Megahertz, number 2 team captain, still trying to get out, cutting the track on Jackie Ojaw of ICT, gives the power jam to Happy Valley. And now Millie Megahertz had to work for it, but getting out of the pack. She's lead jammer now. First scoring pass on the power jam coming up. Only all 4 blockers on the track for Happy Valley, but they're going to move into sausage formation. 3 blockers for ICT. Millie Megahertz had to work for it again to get around Annika Soren slam, Beatrix beat down, and Scott Land a hit, but she gets all 5. Foxy Mahler returned to the track. That means it's 4 blockers now, and Millie Megahertz on her second scoring pass. She sees Jackie Ojaw coming down the pike, calls it off. 3 more points on the second scoring pass. That gives her 8 points for Happy Valley.
Yeah, I like that decision right there by Jackie Ojaw. Some people are going to look at it and say, well, you know what? She had a much shorter path back onto the track had she gone the opposite direction and come in behind. But to get out on the track and go in the proper counterclockwise direction and fly, force that call off. Might not have been called off so quickly had she gone in clockwise.
Both teams at full strength now. Haven't seen that in a few jams. But right now, Bomb Run Brit at the back of the pack, hanging on to Beatrix beatdown, but it gets her nowhere. She slams into the 4 wall of Happy Valley. Hip Knock-It Therapy, number 503 for Happy Valley, is lead jammer. But there goes Bomb Run Brit, pouring on that speed. Very fast skater in Bomb Run Brit for ICT. But now Hip Knock-It Therapy dodges to the outside of Foxy Mahler. Hip checked out of bounds, but calls off the jam in time. Going to pick up a quick 2 for Happy Valley.
2 points on the board means that the lead is being cut into over and over and over again, and now they're inside 20. It's only 17 points separating these 2 teams. 113-96, 10 minutes, 15 seconds left. Plenty of time for Happy Valley. They've just stuck around. And, we saw this in the earlier bout, Slaughterhouse, Sioux City. Sioux City had a lead and a healthy one. Slaughterhouse just stuck around, and they stuck around, and they stuck around. And in the end, it was a barn burner finish, an upset 1-point victory for Slaughterhouse. So here they go.
Happy Valley putting in Steel Magnolia. She comes out with lead jammer. Dogpile Diva knocked down on the outside by Honey Guns, who goes out with her, scrambles back to her feet and races out of the pack, trying to cut the distance between her and Steel Magnolia, but Steel Magnolia hits the pack now on a scoring pass, slams into Pooter Smacker, gets taken out, runs into her own teammate. That's Gypsy Wipeout.
Attaboy.
Thank you very much. But calls off the jam too late. ICT jammer coming in for 3 points. Only 1 point for Happy Valley, so ICT getting a +2.
Yeah, and how about Steel Magnolia? Not one of their regular jammers, if you will. She hasn't scored a lot of points, only 1, but she's doing the job, man. 3 jams in, she's had lead twice. So, a 67% lead jammer percentage, and she's able to call off jams. That helps.
3 jams in a row, starting out at full strength. Jackie Ojaw racing through the pack, gets the lead jammer. Pain in the Nicky, the Happy Valley jammer, absorbs a hip check from Seymour Skin, moves to the outside. Seymour Skin stays in front of her, and she gets lapped by Jackie Ojaw, gets a grand slam for ICT. Pain in the Nicky knocked out, has to recycle behind Rachel Rage as Jackie Ojaw laps her a second time. Second scoring pass for ICT comes in behind Scarlet Viper and Hip Knock-It Therapy, but dodges around those 2 blockers, gets out a second time, grand slam. That's a 10-pointer. Pain in the Nicky still on her initial pass, trying to bombard her way past Annika Soren slam. Finally does it, but only completing her initial pass as Jackie Ojaw gets around Scarlet Viper. No, sorry, yeah, it looked like, I was looking, it looked like she instead her skates out of bounds, but did not. Does complete the pass. and gets 3 more for ICT. 13 points for the ladies in red.
Yeah, Seymour Skin is back to the sin bin right now. She's all smiles, but she is in the penalty box right now. And after another 3 points just put up on the board for ICT now. So 129-97, 7 minutes, 40 seconds to go. We're going to have an official timeout. 129-97 at the 7:39 mark. And suddenly, out of nowhere, ICT has jacked the point score up. It's now a 32-point differential. But when you take a look at this, they're going to put Millie Megahertz at the line at this point. She's had 15 jams, 8 of them as the lead jammer, but she's scored 34 points to Bomb Run Britt's 17. So she's doubled up on points. It would stand to reason that with Seymour Skin sitting in the penalty box, a 4-on-3 advantage on behalf of, or to the benefit of Happy Valley, this lends itself well to one of those signature explosions by Millie. Let's see if she can go ahead and jam out of there quickly and grab lead jammer, and we'll see what happens. Still an official review or official timeout time. Philip McCrevis heading over to the Happy Valley bench to talk things over with Hafta Ruler. He's going to head over to the scorer's table as well. So that's where we stand. We'll find out as soon as we can exactly what's going on. But looks like, I can tell you what's going on. We're going to get a track cut violation being called now. That one is going to go on. Well, we'll take a quick look. It's on
Jackie O'Jaw.
Is it Jackie? All right, so Jackie O'Jaw sits.
So that's what I was looking at over there. Now, I just want to, for the record, the referees cannot hear us. We're on the broadcast only. But what I saw over there, it looked like Jackie O'Jaw stepped out of bounds. I didn't see any, although I had the entire pack in between me, so I was looking at the feet all scattered, but I didn't see any other feet going out of bounds. But it looked like it, from my unofficial perspective, that Jackie O'Jaw stepped out of bounds, but then when she called it off, she was fully inbounds and she never recycled. But that's only my perspective, and I also take a mulligan because I was looking through the entire pack.
Well, and they're all the way on the other side of the track. We're in a weird position here, no question about it. But speaking of weird positions, are you telling me that the referees can't hear us?
I'm pretty sure. Maybe when we're very loud, but I don't think when we're talking like this, I don't think they can hear it.
So I can crack on them a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. I do it all the time.
I would never. A more dedicated professional staff of referees I have never seen in my life. These people are flawless. They're volunteers, and good Lord, we love them. I would never in a million years cast a disparaging remark against a zebra.
That is the toughest job in all of roller derby.
Hey, listen, we got it easy.
Do you realize they have to skate? They have to skate above average. They have to be able to look in all directions while skating in one direction, including staying out of bounds, not veering onto the track.
Yeah, they got to stay in a real tight circle.
They have to watch the feet. They have to watch the elbows. They have to watch the hips. They have to watch the head. They have to watch the entire part of every single part of the skater's body is a potential penalty trigger. Well, and they are outnumbered in the track, especially the pack refs. They have outside pack refs and inside pack refs. They are outnumbered by blockers, and they have to watch all of them at the same time. The jam refs have to pay special close attention to their one jammer because they have to keep track of who the jammers passed on this scoring pass. They have while watching for any potential penalties committed by their jammer or against their jammer.
Yeah.
The referees in roller derby are the hardest working stripes in any sport.
Hey, listen, there's no question. No question about it. No doubt about it. So here's where we are. Quick reset, very quick, and I'll toss it back at you. 129.97, 7 minutes, 41 seconds to go. Power start, and exactly what I told you would happen. Millie Megahertz just got up on the toe stops and ran all the way through the pack. It's a 4-on-3 pack advantage and a power start. Tell them what's going on, baby.
Millie Megahertz on her first scoring pass just like that. She's on a power jam right now. Of course, there was an official review. Obviously, ICT trying to spring their jammer, but also is obviously not successful. So we've got first scoring pass very quickly. Quick 5 points for Happy Valley. Now on the second scoring pass as Jackie O released from the penalty box. Served her full 30 seconds in this jam. Happy Valley springing into action, making a double 2 wall. And O-Megative delivering a hip check, sending Jackie Ojaw out of bounds as Millie Megahertz of Happy Valley gets out for a second grand slam. That one's going to be that was started during the Power Jam. We may or may not count that as a Power Jam points, but Jackie Ojaw now hitting the afterburners, getting through the pack, but only completing her initial pass. Cutting the track on Olivia Wildchild sends her to the box. That drops Happy Valley down to 3 blockers. Millie Megahertz waiting. Oh, too long. Gives up 2 points. So she waited just a couple of seconds too long. Jackie Ojaw pouring on the speed, gets 2 more, but 14 points for Happy Valley brings them to just 20 points away from ICT.
There you go, 131-111, 20 points after a 14-2 Happy Valley run. 6 minutes on the clock. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a close one all the way to the finish. Hypnotic Therapy on the line. Bomb Run Britt, her counterpart, and she's out first, out fast, in a hurry with the lead jammer status.
That looked like she was using Millie Megahertz at her. Oh, but no, she doesn't execute. She stepped out of bounds. The referee saw it. It was just 1 foot tap out of bounds, and it's another Power Jam, this time for Hypnotic Therapy. Looking around at her teammates, trying to sort out what's going on. The teammates, of course, saying, go, go, go. Hypnotic Therapy on her first scoring pass. Gets around Rachel Rage. They raise their hand. The referee's arm goes up. She gets a free pass. Quick grand slam. Pack frozen at the back stretch. Now Hypnotic Therapy whizzing by her teammate. Her teammate, it was Bloody Two Shoes. Bloody Two Shoes on number 132. But cutting the track. Now a matching cutting the track on Hypnotic Therapy gives a Power Jam to Bomb Run Britt, who gets forced out of bounds by Steel Magnolia. Steel Magnolia getting a penalty, joining her jammer, so only 3 blockers for Happy Valley. Bomb Run Britt too fast for Olivia Wildchild, completing her initial pass. Already 5 points for Hypnotic Therapy, and she was on a second scoring pass, so may have some points in reserve while she's in the penalty box. But Bomb Run Britt now looking to match that first scoring pass. Olivia Wildchild gets in front of her, but they run out of room and have to back it up. Grand slam for Bomb Run Britt. But that's 1 scoring pass. Hypnotic Therapy leaving the penalty box, now returning to play. Has to recycle back. Rachel Rage is going to make her pay. Dropping back out of turn 3 as Bomb Run Britt. Quick run around the outside of the pack. Gets another 5. But Hypnotic Therapy potentially matching, and she does. So right now we have matching 10 points for both jammers. Matching Power Jams, matching 10 points. Bomb Run Britt on scoring pass. Number 3, Hypnotic Therapy taking a whip from Wildchild. Not going to get out. Bomb Run Britt completes the pass for 4. Hypnotic Therapy going to get only 2, so a 14-12 plus 2 for ICT.
3 minutes, 45 seconds left to play. 145, 123, a 22-point separation right now. And let me tell you something. You know, a minute ago we were talking about the fact that one skater, Dogpile Diva, had so many more points than everybody else that she was, basically better than the next 2 jammers on the other side of the equation combined. Millie Megahertz all of a sudden has 48 points. Hypnotic Therapy with 40.
Dogpile Diva, the jammer we were just talking about, and Millie Megahertz. Speak of the Twin Devils. But Millie Megahertz is going to get lead jammer, but Dogpile Diva gets out right behind her. So wise choice by Millie Megahertz calling it off.
Yeah, 0-0. It's kind of like kissing your sister. You know, I mean, you got to kiss, but it's from your sister. Doesn't really count. No one wants to really talk about it, you know. So 0-0 on that pass, 145, 123. It remains. We're inside of 3 minutes left. Final couple of jams coming up. They're going to throw Hypnotic Therapy and Jackie Ojaw to the line. Empty penalty box, so 4-on-4 action starts right now.
Jackie Ojaw on the outside, caught by Payne in the Nicky, who's backed up by Red A Whips. Payne in the Nicky, though, matching move for move with Jackie Ojaw. Up front, Hypnotic Therapy squeezes between Pooter Smacker and Annika Sorenslam. Gets lead jammer. Pointing at her eye, I'm wondering, I was wondering, originally I thought she was saying I got hurt, but no, she was just, that might be a secret signal. But now she's on a first scoring pass, and congealed around her are the ICT blockers. Now Seymour Skin and Pooter Smacker knocking her to the ground. She picks herself back up, but instantly Pooter Smacker gets in front of her. Jackie O'Jaw driven out of bounds, has to recycle, but Scarlet Viper paying the piper, going to the penalty box. Hypnotic Therapy completing her scoring pass, but only going to get 4 out of potential 5. Jackie O'Jaw just now completing her initial pass. 4-on-3 in the pack with Happy Valley down a blocker. Hypnotic Therapy immediately hip check to the side. Not going to get any points from the referee. 4-0 Happy Valley.
Yeah, that was a blocking out of bounds penalty called earlier on I believe it was on number 27. I'll have to come. There is no 27, so I'm absolutely out of my mind. Scarlet Viper, 227. There we go. Scarlet Viper paying the piper. I like the little rhyme there, man. That was good stuff. 145-128. Happy Valley, a 5-0 scoring run that time around, so shaving off some points. 113, 12, 11, 110 on the clock, and here we go.
Yeah, if my math is right, that's only 17 points separating the two teams. So they have a real shot if they get a big jam right now. This time is not their friend. That is Happy Valley. But ICT can clinch it right now. They just have to wait for the period to end. Now, Dogpile Diva has lead jammer. She is in control of the clock, so Happy Valley not in a very happy position right now. Millie Megahertz dodging around Annika Soren Slam. Completing her initial pass, but Dogpile Diva is going to pick up 4. So that they're extending the lead to 21 points. Millie Megahertz on her first scoring pass. And I think Dogpile Diva just has one eye on the clock. She's not really worried about points as long as she can match anything that Millie Megahertz scores. She can just take her time. But Dogpile Diva, the most important thing for them now. Right now, the only thing that they can do is request an official review, and the coach, very savvy fella, goes ahead and calls an official review. Now, they technically don't even have to have a complaint. They can come out there and request a review, saying they think that
it's snowing outside.
They think that Philip McCrevis's socks are distracting to their team. For that.
Well, and you know what? I gotta be honest with you. They might have something there.
very well might.
I gotta be honest with you. I had not seen Philip McCrevis's socks until just this moment, and right now I'm getting a little dizzy, and I'm thinking, possibly a little vertigo. 151-128 is currently what we've got. The official review called for at 8 seconds remaining. So it looks like we might get ourselves one last opportunity here. No more chances to stop the clock. They're out of time, out of shots. I mean, it's now or never for Happy Valley. But let me tell you something, man. I am absolutely, unbelievably impressed with the job Happy Valley has done specifically in the second half of this bout, because quite frankly, it looked as if ICT might be pulling away. It looked as if ICT might be, is it wrong to say outclassing Happy Valley? I mean, it's just what it looked like, right? And now all of a sudden, here we are at the 8 seconds to go mark, and Happy Valley is excited to be out there, coming to the line and ready to rock and roll with an opportunity to actually win this game. I mean, they have a shot. They have a shot. It's 128, 151. I mean, they need some help. They need maybe a penalty, maybe a power jam, but look at them go.
Happy Valley in high spirits. I just wanted to put a little capstone on what I was saying about the referees. Now, I mean, a lot of other sports might have to do a lot of stuff like that, but roller derby is the only one where they have to do it on skates with their head locked to the right almost all of the time. That's what makes their job. That gives it the extra challenge over any other sport. But I just wanted to make that that clear. But now we've got full strength for both teams. Dogpile Diva back in. A lot of confidence from ICT and well-deserved. Millie Megahertz gets a lucky break with Beatrix beat down, stumbling, but Rachel Rage able to hold on, and Dogpile Diva gets out and steals lead jammer away. Millie Megahertz getting pummeled. Now picking herself back up, running in, but not even going to get out of the pack. Dogpile Diva sees the clock tick out, calls it off, and that is all she wrote.
Hey, let me tell you something, Bulldog. It has been an absolute honor and a pleasure all weekend long to sit beside you and share some mic time with you, brother. We are out with a 151-128 ICT win. ICT being able to withstand the last-minute assault, and it was an assault. Happy Valley came storming back, make it a 23-point win, but man, oh man, nobody in their right mind saw this on paper and said 23 points at the end.
Absolutely, but look at that. Look at that. That is some great sportsmanship. Both of these teams came in here. I don't think they've ever played each other before, but they come in, and I think there's a lot of respect earned on both sides, a lot of love being shown right now. This is what I love about roller derby.
Yeah, listen, so we got this, and this was the basement game for the tournament, right? I mean, this is it. So ICT takes 9th. Happy Valley is thrilled to take 10th at this point. I mean,
a
unbelievable.
Strong 10th. You know, they played a strong game.
Yeah, listen, I'm giving them 9.5. I can't say that they're the 10th place team in this tournament.
Enough.
So yeah, so there you have it. The first official final in the tournament. The first official placement is done. 10th place goes to Happy Valley. 9th place to ICT. There's still a ton of derby coming, man. We're not close to done.
Oh, yeah, very exciting day remaining.
We still have 3 more games on this side of the building here today.
I believe the next up is Nidaros.
Nidaros.
That's the first.
Nidaros.
Nidaros.
Norway.
Hey.
Nidaros. Okay, so hey, listen.
It's time to smack me again.
I'm not going to smack you, but I'm going to throw out some numbers very quickly before we wrap this up. Leading jammer of all, 67 points for Dogpile Diva. On the other side of the equation, Millie Megahertz with 48. Next in line for both teams, 53 for Jackie Ojaw and 44 for Hypnotic Therapy. The list goes from there. Notables, Bomb Run Britt with 31 and 16 points for Payne and the Nicky. I'm past the mic.
I'm Bulldog.
We're out.